There is a person in every room. You know who I am talking about. They do not talk much. They do not seek attention. They sit in the corner, they observe, they listen. And most people ignore them completely. But here is what nobody tells you. That quiet person watching everything in silence is almost always the most powerful person in the room. And today we are going to talk about why most people misread silence. They assume that if someone is not talking, they have nothing to say. They assume that quiet equals weak. They assume that loud equals confident. But psychology tells us the exact opposite is true. The people who speak the least are often the ones who understand the most. And understanding is power. Let us start with the first psychological fact. Quiet people are extreme observers. While everyone else is busy talking, performing, and seeking validation, the quiet person is doing something far more valuable. They are watching. They are noticing body language, tone shifts, who interrupts who looks nervous, who is lying, who is pretending. They are collecting information that nobody else even realizes they are giving away. This is not passive behavior. This is a form of strategic intelligence. The quiet person in a meeting knows more about what is really happening than anyone who spent the whole time talking. Psychologists call this a high observational processing style. It means the brain is not focused on output. It is focused on input. And the more input you collect, the more clearly you see the world. While others are busy being seen, the quiet person is busy seeing everything. The second fact is this. Silence creates psychological pressure. Think about the last time you were in a conversation and the other person just went quiet. What happened inside you? You felt uncomfortable. You rushed to fill the silence. You started talking more, revealing more, maybe even saying things you did not plan to say. That discomfort you felt was not random. It was a psychological response to a power dynamic. The person who is comfortable with silence controls the conversation. Always. Interrogators know this. Negotiators know this. The most dangerous people in any high-stakes conversation are not the ones who talk the most. They are the ones who know when to stop talking and let the silence do the work. Quiet people have mastered this without even trying. They are comfortable sitting in silence because silence is their natural state. And that comfort gives them an enormous advantage over everyone around them. The third psychological fact goes even deeper. Quiet people think before they speak, which means when they do speak, people listen. There is a reason why the loudest voice in the room is rarely the most respected. When someone talks constantly, their words lose weight. People stop paying attention because they know the volume will never stop. But the quiet person who rarely speaks, when they open their mouth, the entire room shifts. People lean in. They pay attention. Because they know that this person does not waste words. Every sentence means something. This is the psychology of perceived value. Scarcity creates demand. When something is rare, it is valued more. The quiet person's words are rare, and that rarity makes them more powerful than 1,000 sentences from someone who never stops talking. The fourth fact is perhaps the most misunderstood. Quiet people feel everything deeply. People assume that someone who does not express emotion externally does not have strong emotions. This is completely wrong. Research in psychology consistently shows that quiet, introverted individuals often experience emotions at a much deeper and more intense level than extroverts. They are not cold. They are not empty. They are processing everything internally with an intensity that most people never see. And this depth of feeling creates something extremely powerful. It creates patience. It creates endurance. It creates the ability to absorb enormous pressure without breaking. While a loud, reactive person burns through their emotional energy quickly, the quiet person stores it, channels it, uses it when it matters most. You do not want to push a quiet person to their limit. Because when they finally respond, there is a decade of internal processing behind that response. The fifth fact is about strategy. Quiet people think long-term. The person who is always reacting, always talking, always performing is operating in the short term. They want attention now. They want validation now. But the quiet person is playing a completely different game. They are thinking 3 moves ahead. They are watching patterns develop over time. They are building something that nobody else can see yet. And when the results finally appear, everyone is shocked. History is full of quiet people who changed the world. Rosa Parks did not make a speech before she refused to give up her seat. She simply sat in silence and held her ground. Darwin spent decades in quiet observation before revealing a theory that redefined how humans understand life itself. The most dangerous revolutions do not begin with noise. They begin in silence, in the minds of people who have been watching and thinking for a very long time. The 6th and final fact is this: quiet people know themselves. And self-knowledge is the ultimate form of power. The person who is constantly performing for others, constantly seeking approval, constantly filling silence with noise, that person is running from themselves. But the quiet person spends enormous amounts of time alone with their own thoughts. They know what they believe. They know what they want. They know what they will and will not accept. And because they know themselves deeply, they cannot be easily manipulated, flattered, or destabilized. You cannot pressure someone who already knows who they are. You cannot manipulate someone who does not need your approval. The quiet person's inner stability is a wall that most people cannot get through. And they never even see it coming. So the next time you walk into a room and you spot the quiet one sitting in the corner, not talking, just watching, do not make the mistake that everyone else makes. Do not confuse their silence with weakness. Do not confuse their stillness with emptiness. That person has already noticed things about you that you have not even noticed about yourself. Silence is not the absence of power. Silence is where power lives. And the quietest person in the room is always, always the one you should never underestimate. If this video made you think differently about silence, share it with someone who needs to hear it. And if you are that quiet person, this one was for you. Rise with facts. See you in the next one.